Sorry about that. I forgot to click on YouTube. So I guess we could start over. Hey guys, this is Moss. Um, we got Cheryl.
It's okay. We'll
Go ahead.
start
Just
over.
start over. We'll just start
We'll
over,
start
guys.
over. We'll start over.
Yeah.
This is the beauty of live video, by the way.
Yeah, that's nice.
So, Cheryl here, and I'm on the Mas Sajady video team. And so, when the multi-scaled attack began against Ukraine today, my immediate thought was, I want to get you on, Mas, to talk to me and to your audience
Right.
about what that means at a consciousness level. And we were talking about how there's maybe some kind of parallel or a connection to how some people in our lives like to stir up drama.
Right.
And so explain to us that concept as it pertains to what's happening overseas.
Exactly. And a couple things for those people who don't know me, I look at things from a higher level of consciousness through my two near deaths, which allows me to look through it from a different level. Most people look at it through, the maze that they're in, and we don't see the higher level solutions. And that's why we tend to repeat the same patterns over and over and over again. So whether it's at your personal life, or in this case, at a country level or leadership level, when countries start to get pushed to a limit where they start to lose their identity or they start to lose their control or power, what'll happen is that they'll create some sort of drama to incite, power or control or an identity. Does that make sense? And I can explain it like I was just explaining to you earlier. Without sound, but now we have sound, is like how many of you out there know a friend or are connected to somebody that if they don't create drama, they lose their identity, or they're always trying to create drama. So the reason why they're trying to create drama all the time is because they lose their identity. They feel like they're no good, or they feel like they're incomplete, or they feel like nobody's watching them or observing them. So they need that attention. The best way to do it is create drama. Countries, so that's at a personal level, right? So countries do the same thing, by the way, right? They're starting to lack, say, industry, right? Back in the day, and it sounds crazy, back in the day, leaders thought that the best way to, say, kickstart their economy, guess what? What was it? To start a war.
Yeah.
It sounds like the craziest thing. It's like, why the hell would anybody want to do that? And then, news media and so on like that, it's like because of this is happening, because of, Trump is happening, or because of all this. Trump said that, the reason why this is happening, and that's why I bring that up, is because the elections were rigged by the Democrats and all that stuff. So we're gonna get all these things. And I'm not against Trump. I'm not against Biden. I'm against both of them because we get to see the same old patterns happening over and over. So I'm not impressed with both sides, by the way. We need a change. We need definite change on this. So when countries are like that, before these countries were all, in cahoots, and they try to do that with COVID, try to control. But you'll see in the very near future that because they lost control and they couldn't, say, dominate, or they couldn't control the masses, and we talked about this on another interview with you, right? They try to control the masses some way. We're losing control. We have to start something. So COVID wasn't, the answer, and now we'll start to have wars. And you're not just going to see, Russia and the Ukraine. You're going to see the U.S. get in. You'll start to see, pockets of wars in other parts of the world. And this is the reason why, because those individuals or those countries need to identify who they are and show their strength. Because over time, or as this consciousness, say, gets more and more into higher levels of consciousness, whether you like it or not, we're transitioning into the higher levels of consciousness. It's not, to NATO, or it's not, the United Nations or anybody. those people don't dictate what's happening in consciousness. We're elevating to another consciousness, whether you like it or not. And these individuals, the leaders, they're going, well, we're going another way. You're not going to go another way. Literally, this is the world order. You're transitioning into that higher level. As you transition into the higher level, and you'll experience it at a personal level as well, you start to lose control in those areas that control is not needed. And this is what countries are feeling. That's what countries are experiencing now. So you're going to start to see those individuals, and in this case, countries, like, shit, we're losing control. What do we got to do? Well, we'll start a war. We'll start some demonstrations. We'll start whatever, some kind of chaos, so we can, we can force our identity upon the world to go, hey, we're still here. So that's what's happening at a deeper, bigger level. And by the way, did you notice that there was no war or anything like that when the crisis of COVID? I mean, what happened in between Israel and Palestine? It stopped. Why did that? Why did it just stop? People would keep fighting because it's all made up. Wars are literally made up through the leaders.
I wonder, for all of the people, myself included, who feel somewhat helpless to the situation that's happening, what can we do at a personal level?
Yes.
Maybe energetically.
Yes.
Maybe in some type of, with frequencies. I don't know. What can we do aside from staying glued to the TV and watching 24/7 news?
Yeah.
What can we do that might be able to help?
Well, I would not stay glued and watch TV 24/7. Get away from that, because that's all propaganda. It just repeats, especially certain TV channels. They have an agenda, by the way. And again, we were talking about this on yesterday as well. Cheryl, we were talking about how news, they're not offering you the news and then you make a decision. They're not teaching you. They're not giving you the material and then you go think for yourself. They're telling you what to think. And that's the crisis here today as well. We, XI, and what I do teaches you how to think. So what can you do? Again, don't watch that much news. Just get a glimpse of it and see what's going on. Start to think for yourself, but also start to understand: is there a pattern in you that's happening that's allowing, say, war type situations to happen in the world? Because we're all in on it. We're all creating, say, this reality or this consciousness, whether you like it or not. There's an aspect of you that dictates that, say, that war has to happen or you have to experience war in your life. So what pattern is that in you? And I'm not saying it's your fault, but look at it. Most of us have gone, our generations or our past or our hereditary patterns, your ancestors, sisters, have gone through war. It's in our blood. Literally, it's in our genetic makeup. So at a bigger XI level, as we ascend to the next level of consciousness, we're asking ourselves as a human, as a species, it's like, wait a second, does it have to be in our blood? Can we let go of this genetic makeup at a deeper level? Can we let go of the genetic makeup of war? That's what we're really asking ourselves.
That? I mean, I'm not. I don't want to see see war.
No.
And certainly haven't seen or experienced a lot of that over my lifetime.
Right.
I don't want to start now.
No, you don't want to start now. But your generations have. Right?
What's that?
Well, your previous generations of your family probably has.
Yes.
Right? So that's the key. So just, again, this is a high level looking at it. All those generations, whatever's happened in the past, right? And again, there's been a ton of war. That's in our blood. Right now, as we clean up, and this is the beauty of it, we're just I'll set that aside. When people go through the XI process, and you're new with us, Cheryl, you go through the XI process, and many of you who have gone through the XI process, you get to the point, it's like, wait a second, do I have to age like my parents? Do I have to look like my parents as I age? Sorry about that. Do I have to get the same, say, diseases as my parents? Right? That's what we're asking when people get to a certain level, especially if they've done the total human reset. So at a say species level, we're starting to ask us like, wait a second, do we have to, say, follow the footsteps of war again? We're letting that go at a genetic level. Does that make sense
Yeah.
to you?
So is it a case, Mas, like you said, I'm new to the XI
Hmm.
world. Is it just that I haven't gotten far enough into it to be able to quote unquote reprogram myself to this point? Is it the
Yes.
work just hasn't been done
Yes.
for me personally yet, and maybe others who are new to the XI community?
Absolutely. So you'll get to the level, Cheryl, where you'll change so much that you'll go, wait a second, I don't have to have these issues that my mom had anymore. You don't have to age the way your mom or dad did. So as a society, getting back to, the war type, as a populace, as this human species, we're all coming up, we're all awakening, right? Especially the XI people, and going, wait a second, we don't have to put our children through war again. We don't have to put, our children through the same diseases and shortcomings and all that stuff as we did. We can move on to another level of layer or of reality or consciousness where we're not recycling the same old habits, the same old patterns, same old diseases, the same old wars, the same old situations, the same old control mechanisms. In
So
this,
here,
go ahead.
so Mas, is it up to us, me, and by us I mean all the other people in the world, aside from those who are currently being, who are in the midst of this war and this attack,
Right.
who are in survival mode right now?
Right.
They're not in a position to be able to take the time to go through XI right now.
No.
But is
Absolutely.
it up to the rest of the world then to kind of pick up the ball and pick up the pieces from a energetic perspective and do the work that's necessary? And would that have a ramification
Absolutely.
on the new world order?
Yeah. Well, the world is waking up, and it's literally a choice. Okay. And you've heard many people. We were talking about Ray Dalio, so that's coming out. We're talking about other people going, hey, the world is in a crisis. Ray Kurzweil says technological singularity. Literally, guys, we're having a choice of this consciousness. You either say go into that next level, or what'll happen is like, hey, we go extinct. So, and there's a ton of top level, say, intuitives, people at MIT, again, Ray Kurzweil, Ray Dalio, all those individuals are going, hey, we're going to go in through a civil war, a crisis, or some sort of, like Ray Kurzweil says, technological singularity, where the machines take over and people die off. Literally. So that's the key that we're going through. And this is a great awakening. So what can you do about it? Well, the best way is to practice XI. If you don't know about it, again, go to massajady.com or just look up Xponential Intelligence. The other way is to start to analyze. Again, each and every single day, when you see the news, when you see what's happening in your environment, with your relationships, with your money habits, with how you get ill, is like, what part of it is it in me that allows this experience for me to experience what I'm experiencing? So just keep asking yourself, because people are always trying to find a solution on the outside, right? Even
It sounds like you're talking about personal responsibility.
Yes, absolutely. But this is a very deep level of personal responsibility, because when people, and here's the key, when I talk about or when other people talk about personal responsibility, people go, hey, Mabel, let me get the guns out. I'm going to take this on, you know what I mean? And I'm going to show them. Well, the solution the solution is that those are old patterns or situations of, say, taking personal responsibility. Does that make sense? You're still carrying the burdens of previous. And that's why you might take it. And I'm not against taking on guns or for safety and all that. I'm totally fine with that. But again, you're taking on the burdens and making it your responsibility.
It sounds like the new way of doing it, though, is peaceful. It
Yes,
sounds like the new way of doing it is maybe largely internal.
absolutely. So people are waking up. It's peaceful. It's connecting to their inner self. So when you ask yourself that question again, what pattern is it in me that's allowing, say, this war to happen? And you go, well, I'm so far removed from the Ukraine and, Russia, it's not in me. It is, because again, we're all one single species. We all interact. So when you start to disconnect, and a lot of you, again, your parents, your lineage have gone through wars. So you're creating that space. So when you start to ask yourself that question, by the way, you'll start to see fantastic changes even within days. Even if you're new to XI, you just ask yourself that question. Whatever you don't like in your environment, whether it's the news that's 10,000 miles away, or whether it's your personal issue of, addictions or whatever, ask yourself, what pattern is it in me that's allowing for me to experience what I'm experiencing now? And you'll see a lot of stuff come up. And that's all you have to do. Just keep asking yourself that question. We at XI accelerate it. And by the way, another thing you can do is join us on this free world meditation on finding truth.
I was just going to mention, I
Yeah.
can't help but to think, Mas, because you have a wonderful audience here on, or if you're watching on Facebook, I think 1 million
Yeah.
likes on your Facebook page, and you've got a growing YouTube channel. Like, you've got audience and people who do love you and
Yeah. Thank you.
follow you and love your shows and love your methodology. And I can't help but think that if we were to rally
Yes.
all of that together, and also encourage people to invite people who've never heard of XI before
Yes.
together, and invite them to the meditation that you're putting together, it could have an impact.
Absolutely. And this is a whole different solution. What I provide and what happens to how I transform individuals so fast. Again, decades of therapy in about a 10-minute session. And it sounds crazy, but that's the new reality that we're going into. That's the new technology. We can do this as a mass scale and do it even faster, where we can say, allow those leaders to go, hey, we're not gonna stand for this anymore. And we're not gonna do it through, picketing and all this stuff. We're gonna do it through raising our consciousness, where they can't even say access that platform anymore. The reason why, so if you want to join the meditation, it's on our webpage, massajady.com. Again, it's a free meditation. Don't know exactly what it is. All the details are at massajady.com. So take a look at that. Okay. But the key is that I want to explain what consciousness is just for a few seconds, guys. And you can go to Mas Sajady, Mas Experience to understand that at a deeper level. But consciousness is, say that you have kids, okay? And we're all kids here. And you have, say, a play box, and it's full of toys, okay? That's what a consciousness is. And you can, it's building blocks, right? And there's an app, or there's a toy for creating war. There's a toy for creating love. There's a toy for whatever. There's an app for that in your, say, toolbox, or in this, play chest that you've got. So when you raise consciousness, basically what we're doing is like, hey, wait a second, we're eliminating war. So it's like a parent coming into your, play area and pulling out the toy.
The toy
that
the war, yeah.
Yeah, the toy that creates war for people. So as a consciousness, you're pulling that out, or us being evolved as a whole, we pull that out. It's like, hey, well, you know what? We're all in this toy box. We don't want this toy in here anymore, called war.
Because it's a decision. We're making a decision to rid ourselves of that toy, so to speak.
Absolutely. At a consciousness level, we're getting rid of that toy called war. And mind you, you might go, this guy's freaking crazy. Yes, I might be crazy, but the solutions or the outcomes I get for people are never questioned. My methods might be questioned, but the solutions I get are never questioned, because they're out of this world. And some of you who've been on here, the XI journey, again, comment in on, say, some of the changes, right? They're quite amazing, right? So, but when you take this tool out, or this toy called war out of this consciousness, because that's what we're doing, those individuals, those leaders like Putin, or Biden, or whoever else in the world that's out there that's gonna use that tool, they can't. It won't work. And this is my predictions on YouTube Live, guys. In about, say, 3-4 months, no matter, they'll invade, but it'll never take hold. It's not going to be a war that's going to be long term. You'll start to see a lot of transformations. You'll start to see, just like the war or that thing that happened in Afghanistan, like nothing fruition from it. If that makes sense to you. Right? You'll see, or the wars in between Jerusalem and Palestine. You'll see that again. It never fruitions. You'll see that this doesn't take hold. You'll see that, well, leaders just can't use that toy anymore. Not now, not ever. If we do it right, if we awaken. So.
Yeah. And then I think that's where we need to leave that, because if we can awaken, if we can band together, and we can, again, come together at your event, I think would be a great stepping stone toward doing that.
Absolutely. We're not going to play a victim, guys. We're not going to go, hey, this isn't right, and push against the system. We're not going to be that victim pattern. We're going to go, hey, we're limitless beings. We're honorable beings. We don't play that. So we're not playing victim. We're just going to stand strong on who we really are. And that's what the meditation is about.
And it sounds like there is an action that we can take.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, Mas, this is so good. I really felt strongly today, of all days, to get on here and to be able to bring this message live, because it's just, I think, so pertinent, so important.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are watching the situation unfold and scratching their heads and going, why now? What is this really all about? Why? What is the meaning behind all of this?
Yes, absolutely.
And I think you've explained it really well. This is part of our evolution to the next level of consciousness.
Absolutely.
Maybe we just have to go through this.
Yeah, it's time to, before, people go, it's time for a change, and you see that in the political slogans, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to change, you stay the same. No, my slogan is, it's time to change. It starts with you. And again, the meditations that are coming up, it'll help you really change dynamically, internally. And as you change, the rest of the world around you changes. And that's where real change happens.
I love it. Yeah. Well, thanks, Mas.
Well, thank you.
Keep watching and go to your website to get the details on the meditation. Do you know the name? I think it was called, I think there was a name that was chosen.
Yeah, it was called
Freedom, Unity,
and
Peace,
Truth.
Freedom and Unity.
Yeah, freedom, freedom, peace, and unity. Freedom, peace, and truth. So first you have freedom, then you have, when you have freedom to choose, you become unified, because we're all in the same goal. Okay, and then when you have unification, you can stand for the truth or seek truth, and it'll be all one truth.
Freedom, unity, truth.
Yes.
Thank you, Mas. Thanks for jumping on.
Thank you, guys.
And I can't wait for our next conversation.
Yeah, me too. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah.